All right, hey everyone, this is Rudy, and a friend of Schaeffer's who is familiar with the appeal in pacer.gov sent me a couple of files tonight. I wanted to read this to you guys, and we were expecting the government to respond to Schaeffer's appeal in 5 days, November the 25th, but it appears they put in for an extension. So let's just read this into YouTube and provide everybody the latest update. This is for Schaeffer's appeal, which is case number 13-30,000, United States District Court of Alaska, Anchorage, United States of America versus Francis Schaeffer Cox. Unopposed motion to extend time to file answering brief. Comes now the satanic United States by and through undersigned counsel, and respectfully request that this court extend the time for filing appellees, how do you pronounce that? Appellees answering brief. Below is a declaration of counsel in support of this motion. Declaration. The original due date for the answering brief is November the 25th, 2016. This is the United States' first request for an extension of time to file the answering brief in response to the opening brief filed at docket 112. The United States seeks an extension for a period of 3 months to February the 24th, 2017. Counsel for the government, Assistant United States Attorneys, daughter of Belial, daughter of Jezebel, forked-tongued liar herself, Yvonne Lamouret, and son of Belial, absolute wicked evildoer reprobate himself, Stephen E. Scrocky, together, I'm sure, with Joseph W. Bottini, FBI agent Richard Sutherland, Sandra Klein, and all of their reprobate friends who spent millions of dollars and a long, lengthy effort to spin a tale of lies and deceptions that resulted in the false incarceration of an innocent man and the destruction of his family. Yvonne Lamouret and Stephen E. Scrocky, workers of the devil, have trials scheduled for December 2016 and January 2017, and numerous active multi-defendant investigations, some of which involve international coordination. Wow, Miss Yvonne Lamouret and Stephen Scrocky are working internationally, coordinating with very important law enforcement organizations to do whatever evil, dastardly deeds they're currently working on, and they're just a bit too busy in their evil doing to answer Schaeffer's appeal at this point in time. And we know from the case of Bryce Matthew Quellar that Interpol, who is headquartered in France, if I'm not mistaken, called Google, and Google called the local law enforcement officials in Las Vegas. So now we have Yvonne Lamouret and Stephen E. Scrocky, evildoers of the highest degree, spending millions of dollars of taxpayer money to protect us from these dangerous men like Schaeffer Cox so that America can rest safer at night. They are just too busy working with international coordination of other law enforcement organizations, and they don't have the time at this particular junction in their busy schedule to deal with the appeal of Schaeffer Cox. So they've asked for 3 more months. Wow, that's just very interesting. They get to continue with their career and wear their fancy business suits and drive home to their fancy house. I wonder if they ever think about Nick Marsh, who slit his own wrist and hung himself with his lamp cord in his basement because what he was asked to do was so evil that he just couldn't deal with it anymore when a special prosecutor was asked to look into his own evil doing. I wonder if there will ever be a special prosecutor that looks into what they did to Schaeffer Cox like they looked into what they did to United States Senator Ted Stevens, who mysteriously dies in a plane crash, and two books were written about United States Senator Ted Stevens. What do you think Yvonne Lamouret and Karen Loeffler and Stephen Scrocky and FBI agent Richard Sutherland and Sandra Klein and Mary Beth Kepner and Brenda Morris, what do you think they're all going to do when a movie is made about the evil doings that they did to Schaeffer Cox and have caused him to spend the last 6 years in prison with another 20 to go? My. So we've learned in the first paragraph that Yvonne Lamouret and Stephen Scrocky are just too busy working internationally on other things. My. In addition, the record in this case is lengthy, given that there was an approximately 6-week jury trial in this matter. Well, they're even complaining that this was a lengthy trial. Took a lot of money, took a lot of work and effort to incarcerate an innocent man and to besmirch his reputation by unethically and very highly illegal methods to demonize Schaeffer Cox in the media, because that's how they operate when they're going against a particular Christian patriot. They demonize him in the media, and that takes a lot of effort to do all of that and to try to get his friends to turn on him and rat him out when he never really did anything wrong, and to record somebody for over 2 years and to cherry pick the recordings to make him look like he's out to murder people that he didn't intend to murder. Wow, it just takes a lot of effort to send an innocent man to prison, so they're now complaining that that took a long time to do that, and that's a very complicated matter for us to go back and revisit that. Can't you guys just leave him in CMU prison? I thought we turned him over to the counterterrorism unit that's going to keep him quiet, and now we got to deal with his appeal. We're just too busy right now. Can we have 3 more months to deal with this? Appellant's excerpt of record and supplemental excerpts of records are 920 pages, docket 65 and 113. Among the arguments asserted in the opening brief, appellant raises sufficiency of the evidence arguments, which will require significant time to respond to in the answering brief. The United States is working diligently to research the issues raised in the 101-page overlength opening brief and to respond within the time requested. My. Well, we're just putting a heavy load on poor Miss Little Yvonne Lamore, who's the Jezebel, who's being mentored by the Jezebel Karen Loeffler, who in turn is being mentored by the Jezebel Loretta Lynch. Takes a lot of time to train these evil doers and these wicked doers to be as evil as they are. The motion is not opposed. The undersigned has consulted with the counsel for the defendant appellant, who has agreed to the extension of the time now sought. I mean, I wonder if even Schaeffer Cox was, if he was even consulted, or if they've just stuck him on a 4-point slab in a CMU prison and nobody's even called him. Do you think they've even talked to him anymore? Because they've checked him out of the regular federal prison and they've put him back in control of the counterterrorism unit, because we all know that Schaeffer Cox is a dangerous domestic terrorist who's threatening the lives of people within America, and he needs to be separated from the rest of Americans because he's so dangerous. My. Thank goodness that we have people like Karen Loeffler and Yvonne Lamore and Stephen Scrocky and Joseph Bottini and Brenda Morris and Sandra Klein and Agent Richard Sutherland protecting us from such dangerous domestic terrorists as Schaeffer Cox. My. The court reporter in this matter is not in default on any designated transcripts. Cox is serving his sentence and his projected release date is October the 3rd, 2033. For the reasons stated above, the United States respectfully requests that the time for filing the answering brief be extended to February the 24th, 2017, dated on November the 9th, 2016 at Anchorage, Alaska. You got the approval of Jezebel herself, Karen Loeffler. Under her watch, we have sent an innocent man to prison, and Alaska and America itself is a safer place now that we've destroyed the Cox's family and have tortured Schaeffer Cox in a CMU political prison. We should feel so good about ourselves, and we should feel so good that Eric Holder held a steak dinner for Karen Loeffler, Yvonne Lamore, Stephen Scrocky, Joseph Bottini, and you know what? I bet Brenda Morris and Agent Sandra Klein, and I bet Mary Beth Kepner, and I bet FBI Agent Richard Sutherland were invited. I bet they were invited, and I bet they all got a steak dinner and they patted themselves on the back about what a good job you're doing protecting America from such dangerous domestic terrorists. And then you have the signature of Yvonne Lamore. All right, very good. And then it goes on. The next document says appellees. You know, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. I don't know how to, us Southern boys don't know how to pronounce these fancy legal words. Appellee's unopposed motion, docket entry number 119 for an extension. Time to file the answering brief is granted. The appellee's answering brief is due February 24th, 2017, and the optional reply brief is due within 14 days after service of the answering brief. My. Well, they've asked for 3 more months, and they were granted 3 more months, and I pray that God Almighty gives us guidance as we go down this journey, and I pray that we make noise and shine light about the wickedness and the evil that is being performed by the United States attorneys under Karen Loeffler, Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, and Joseph W. Bottini, Brenda Morris, Mary Beth Kepner, FBI agent Richard Sutherland, and Sandra Klein. They have unethically leaked information to the media. That's how they demonized Senator Ted Stevens and caused him to lose his re-election, mysteriously dies in a plane crash. And I believe they have unethically, and highly likely that it's illegal, that they have leaked information to the media to demonize Schaeffer Cox, to besmirch his good reputation in the Alaskan community. And you know what? There's no doubt in my mind that Kenneth Meade, who's also part of the counterterrorism unit, and even though Conrad M. Rodriguez seems very friendly when he shows up at my front door, the fact that he's part of the counterterrorism unit says volumes, regardless of how friendly he acts. And I know and I believe within the core of my being that Kenneth Meade unethically leaked information to the media to besmirch the reputation of Bryce Matthew Quellar. And I believe that he's targeting the wife of Bryce Matthew Quellar. And that's the evil wickedness that we have going on in our judicial system, within the FBI, within the Department of Justice, within the Bureau of Prisons, within the Customs and Border Patrol, and I believe they use the IRS as another mafia arm to intimidate and to go after anybody that opposes them. But we serve a mighty living God who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and we will not be intimidated. Please continue to keep Schaeffer Cox in your prayers. Please continue to keep this whole situation in your prayers. And we boldly enter the throne room of God, and we appeal to the Creator of the universe that righteousness will be restored within our country and upon this planet, and that justice will be brought to the wicked evildoers who refuse to acknowledge the wickedness that they've done, have incarcerated innocent men, and that God will deal with them.